This is the Conscious Business Podcast.
You were already learning before you got into real estate?
Well, think of his
when I started learning about the
Talk to the mic, please.
was like one of my turning moments for that was later on, but there were precursor little things that happened that all kind of accumulated to make that end unit of me thinking that way, right? Like it started when I was realizing that there was more ways to get ahead, because I learned about the real estate investing side of things before I bought my first house and before I became a realtor, right? So I decided to learn and take into my own hands self-education with reading, to educate myself further. And then as I learned it, I would want to teach other people. And I'm really good at piecing it together, like in my own head while I'm explaining it. Like teaching it is, I found a very good way to learn things. So like I'd constantly be like just diving deep into those topics, and I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, the self-learning thing was definitely a thing. But maybe did I look at it in the same sense? Maybe not exactly. As more so when I got more into like, I guess the kind of biohacky type stuff. And after a certain, a breakup, a relationship, I wanted to like go on a little mission of like, I want to find out why I am the way that I am. And then once those things kind of accumulated onto each other, then it started to be a shift in mindset towards those types of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, not me.
Doesn't make sense to you?
No. Like that wasn't me. Started business. Was like, let's just be rich.
Dum-dum?
Yep. But here we are. Kind of successful. Sort of.
We're doing all right.
Well, and that's the other measurement. You got to look at what is success to you, right? And like, what is the pre-imposed view of success that people impose upon you that you're trying to match up to?
Well, I think if you can say you're in the, top 1% of world earners, you're pretty good. Right? I mean, we were there before we left our normal jobs. Now we're really there. So
yeah, that comparison is one thing, but like that still doesn't match up for happiness, because money doesn't equate happiness.
Well, I disagree on that one as well, actually.
There can be a tool, but like it could get to a point where like, how much more money do I need? Like money is no longer feeding me happiness. I need to find it elsewhere.
Or shifting like that time, money.
I just saw a Gary Vee video about this today.
Yeah, so I disagree, because the only other thing that's more important than money is oxygen, because you need that to live every day. You need money to live every day, to take care of your loved ones, take care of yourselves.
Well, yeah.
So money is like the second most important thing in any human's life.
Especially in our society.
No, because even if you...
Like in Western culture.
Okay, yes. Sure. We can go that way. Definitely in Western culture.
I don't disagree with, I think as a base fundamental, but there's a certain maximum that you really need to attain to have a comfortable life in the region in which you live too, or under what means or provisions that you have in place, like to sustain that life. And that's what I looked at, is where do I draw my line? Like, what are the qualities I expect from myself?
Yeah.
And create a number and figure out what that number was. And then anything above and beyond that is that investment that I make, right? Like I take that residual money and I put it towards what I need to get for that next step to continue that journey to independence.
Okay. So then the line where you're drawing as your goal, if that's all the money you need to make, then why would you continue to go forward and put the remainder that's made as an investment if money is not important.
So that you can show everyone that you have lots of money by buying things to impress them with.
But you guys didn't agree with me that money's important.
No, I don't. I personally, at this time, money's not, well, it is important, but it's not, it doesn't
not the end all be all.
coincide with happiness. Not all wealthy people are happy. It is a tool that can help with happiness 100%.
I would argue I've not met too many unhappy wealthy people. And I maybe haven't met like billionaires and whatnot, but I've, seen my fair share of more wealthy than me, and they're extremely happy.
Because it's experiential, because there's always people with lots of money that are just miserable.
Okay. So then...
And also, what you perceive to be happy could be just a show they're putting on. Are they deep down inside really fulfilled and happy?
Yep.
Or are they just doing what they think they're supposed to be doing, and they're just like... Argh.
I think just as like a personal experience or an experiment that anybody can take is, what is the lowest that you could live off of? Yep. Right? And I think that was like, it took time for me to kind of look at what I need to live minimum, right? And then, when you're out of that comfort zone, or the people around you are out of that comfort zone, and then you find that number and you hone in. And I think that's what people need to do, is see what the minimum you need is. Some people might want a Rover, right?
Wants versus needs is what it boils down to. That line between the two just moves depending on how much you make. And then all of a sudden you need to keep up with people ahead of you. Then you need to keep up with people ahead of you. That's why they call it the rat race. Keeping up with the Joneses are out the door. No one's even keeping up with the Joneses anymore.
Yeah,
no one cares about the Joneses. They went to like Delaware or some shit. Now so you got to keep up with the Kardashians, right? You're keeping up with the top of the tabloids. Like it's not the same.
But I think like you can always look for the negatives, and if you like search for them, you'll find them all the time. But I think you have to look at like what you minimum need financially, or what you need minimum spiritually, or what you need minimum for like a relationship with people, right? And that's where you gotta kind of set your bar to, right? And
but that's like why
call it like not a bar, but like a glass, like a baseline that you need to keep yourself above.
But I think that's why I'm trying to change, because you guys were like, money doesn't equal happiness, and that's why I was trying to flip it for you guys. Because realistically, if you guys were only, let's say, had some $20,000 job, or can only do one deal because the markets have changed, are you really that happy at 20? Let's say you made 20 grand in a year.
No, because I'll be super stressed. Exactly. Yes, it can solve, like I say, it can solve problems.
I agree.
We're
like
saying
just
the same
because you make
in different ways.
I agree. Just because you make $1 million, you're not necessarily gonna be fulfilled, for sure. But I think money is super important, and like you're right. Once you find that financially free threshold, right, where everything's taken care of, like how much is extra that you need, right? I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I think the other we say the difference of the wants and the needs. When you look at what you can want, and like you have a set budget, and you have your finances planned, I think you get more of a feel of control that doesn't like, it's not an omniscient cloud over top of you, where I think a lot of people have no idea sometimes where their finances are going because they might not take track of it, and that creates like a worry to them. And I think it kind of grounds people when you're able to take that time and help them through. See, right? Like, so.
Oh, I think we need to wrap this up. I'm getting tired. I'm having troubles following. I don't know. Huh?
Whatever you want. You're the boss.
Am I the boss? Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah,
That's tough.
We're at a good point. Yeah, let's. So, in the coming seasons, we're gonna bring more stuff. We're gonna have a guest come on in the next season. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna dig deeper into more about the human element of emotion wrapped up in business.
I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Wait, everyone clap.